takes place. King said, justice denied anywhere is justice denied everywhere. I am convinced that God is very much concerned about selfish indifference to the needs of others. It's the second one. I am also absolutely confident when I say that God is concerned about violence and war. I knew I couldn't miss with those three. That's why I said I want to talk about courage to risk justice, compassion, and peace. My concern is that God expects people of the faith community, and that's who we are today gathered here, some from different parishes, even a former pastor, Douglas Memorial, Dr. Braskam is here, and teachers from various places. We today, we are listening to the Ferris Lecture, but God is invested in the possibility that we who are people of faith will be able to see very clearly what matters to God. But beyond that, to speak out about what it is that matters to God. But beyond that, to do something to promote the kind of world God intends this grand earth to be. I want to repeat that because that's what the agenda is. You did not know that I was coming to recruit you to be agents of God in regards to what God is deeply concerned about. And not just to be a part of, I saw in the magazine's rack today, the new silent majority. No, I think God would have us, at least I know it's true for me, to be able to spend some time wondering and really letting it sink in. I see this issue as one that high heaven is concerned about. But it's not enough just to see it. Question, am I too timid to speak up about it? Am I prepared to look around and to identify that if there are people who don't have a place to stay, that's not right? If there are people who are starving for lack of nourishment, that's not right. If there are people who do not have access to quality education, heaven says that is not right. And if there are people who do not have meaningful forms of employment while others hoard resources waiting for a better day, heaven is saying, in fact, sometimes heaven even gets ebonics. And heaven says, that ain't right. No. There are lots of things in the world today that if heaven could microform us down here, the Lord said, that's not right. That's not right. The vast differential between the haves and the have-nots. I understand Father Cooper Camp talked about this last time he was here. God is saying, that ain't right. Well, maybe God is saying that isn't right. You know. but the point that I want to make here today is that if you take the challenge I'm hoping to send forth in this conversation, that we are really asking you, mostly few members, the laity mostly, asking you to be willing to be seers, sayers, and doers. I like that. Basically, that's what I feel this is me. That's what I feel called to be. God wants me to see into the conditions around us, that which matters to God. God wants me to say something about not sitting around, as my dad would say, sucking wind through my teeth or say something about it. And beyond that, God wants me this word completely, a Black Baptist church, I'd ask you to repeat those three things. A seer, a sayer, and a doer. And I would ask you if you could really stretch and play the game with me. God wants me to be a seer, a sayer, and a doer. This is yet the second interaction that I've asked from you. Could you put those words in your mouth without blushing? God wants me to be a seer,
a sayer, and a doer.
But let me tell you something. To be that, it wouldn't be fair not to say that to be seers, sayers, and doers can be hazardous to your comfort, your well-being, your life, and your health. I think it was only fair to tell you that. Maybe I should have told you that before I asked you to say it. To really on the earth down here, to express what's in God's heart and to be enraged about that which violates the calling of God. If you take it seriously enough to go all the way from seeing